The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. A show that looks good, feels good, and sounds good. This is When in Rome with Stuart Rome.
Welcome back to another fantastic When in Rome with Stuart Rome, or as I say, When in Snow with Stuart Rome is what we're talking about here. And we should do a visual on this thing, man. We can't because we can't do the video with the music we play, Stuart. But You've been showing me pictures of the 10 plus inches of snow you got down in New Orleans. Of course, we're recording the show here on January 23rd, so it all came down the last couple of days. But I'm glad you're safe. And we were just talking here as we get ready to do When in Rome with Stuart Rome, Birmingham.WoodhouseSpa.com, the best spa period in the country. It's right here in Birmingham. We're so happy to have it. It's just a really strange, I mean, you're a New Orleans native. You've lived down there. You live here in Birmingham. But I mean, with the shootings and the Super Bowl coming up and a Fat Tuesday around the corner, and now you're getting 10 inches of snow. I mean, it's just a weird time, isn't it?
Yeah, it always seems that way. They come in waves. Things come in waves. And this is just one of those waves, I guess. But yeah, we got, the backyard, we kind of measured anywhere from 9 inches to 11 in certain spots. And it was, you could only get anywhere by walking, walking down the block and stuff. But I've been wearing the exact same stuff I wear when I go snow skiing the last 2 days.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, when we had that stuff back in 93 or 94, we got the 13. I was in Homewood. We had 13 inches, and we had a snow blizzard. It was a thunderstorm during it, and I'll never forget it. And I'm from Cincinnati, so we're used to seeing that kind of snow. Not all the time. I mean, it was a rarity, but what a joy and just so cool. And you just don't realize how many people, first of all, have never seen snow, period. I mean, and that, I mean, none of us were alive. I doubt back in 1887 or whatever it was, people even knew what the hell was going on. But what a joy. And it's just crazy. That's just nuts. I'm glad you were down there. I'm glad you got a chance to enjoy it.
A lot of kids that especially haven't, seen it down here.
Yeah.
And we've had a few incidences. I think, it actually snowed on Christmas Day one year, but that was probably 15, 20 years ago. And it was probably an inch, And so I think the most I've ever seen in my 60 years being here is maybe there was a day that was 2 to 3 inches,
Uh-huh. Maybe a little dusty. What happens down on Bourbon Street? What happens downtown when snows like this? I mean, I'm assuming that they make the best of it, right? I mean, they're still open.
Well, yeah, there were people cross country skiing down Bourbon Street, pulling sleds, all kind of shit. You could see it if you go to Google it all. You can see it all. It's great. But
that's awesome.
We walked around. It was dumb. It was dumping snow for like 10 hours. I mean, it started at like 7 a.m. It didn't stop till about 6-ish, 5:30-ish.
Wow.
And it was just really nice powder, this nice kind of snow that you'd see in like Utah or Colorado when you go skiing. The really fluffy stuff. It was really nice.
That's great. Yeah. And I'm assuming you're down there with your lovely bride.
Everybody's here. Yep.
So you guys could cuddle in and you didn't lose any power, I'm assuming?
We didn't lose any power. Heat stayed on. Excellent. Dogs were inside. We had a flight out yesterday on Delta that was canceled, and had another flight out today on Delta that was canceled. I guess because Floyd's trying to get to work. Yeah. I'm sure they clear the runways, but I think it's a matter of people getting there.
Yeah.
I think they're opening up some flights this afternoon or this evening, so hopefully that'll go back to normal.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm so glad you're on the show. When in Rome with Stuart Rome. We've been doing this show for a few years now. Of course, it's won an award. It's a hybrid show. We play classic rock music. We talk about the spa business and mainly, of course, the Woodhouse Day Spa. And Stuart and myself, we just like to lollygag around and talk about whatever the hell we're talking about. You're doing This Week in Rock History, and I did a little research this morning. I was on Fox 6 this morning. By the way, we missed you on ABC 3340 for our starting lineup. We'll get you on the show next time you're in town. I know you couldn't get out of town to be on the TV show, but you can check out Birmingham.WoodhouseSpas.com. But I saw something today. It was funny you did This Week in History. I was getting ready. 1954, on this date in 1954, Cleveland, Ohio banned dancing to anyone under the ages of 18 unless they were accompanied by a parent. And I don't know if that was something that was around. I'm assuming it had something to do with Elvis back in '54. I mean, we're not talking Dirty Dancing. This is not. Yeah, we're not talking Mormon Town here. That's not that long ago. It's 70 years ago. To band dancing, it was a band for about a couple of weeks, and then of course they lifted it. But I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the king gyrating them hips or something. Right. But anyway, but I know you've got some rock and roll history. We'll get into in just a few minutes. Let's talk about the spa business. What's going on at the Woodhouse Day Spa? My daughter, by the way, I told her. I said, man, you are so stinking spoiled. I said, but Stuart said that he'd get someone over there to make sure that your nails can get elongated if you want. And she's like, he is such a sweetheart. Please tell him. I said, thank you. I said, I will. So we'll probably be in, I think she'll be coming over here next Sunday. So we'll probably do it next weekend. But how's things going at the business? Everything good?
Everything's good. It's funny because I guess when I was Birmingham week or two ago, maybe a week and a half ago, that's when we had the snow there.
Yeah.
3 inches, and we had to shut the spa down. And then I fly down here and I get the same thing, which is pretty amazing,
I mean, what's going to happen next, right?
Well, I don't want to say it, but I will. The year that it snowed on Christmas Day in New Orleans, 9 months later, Katrina hit. So let's hope that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we know weather's getting kind of crazy. We don't need another one of those, man. We don't. We don't need to we don't need to mess with that stuff. That's crazy.
We're getting ready for Valentine's Day. I'm getting ready to put a couple of packages out, and we're booking up those duet rooms. We have 3 of them this year because of the expansion.
Yeah, baby.
And we already started booking the couples massages and getting ready for that. So we're kind of like right in between. We're right in the middle, actually, of really redeeming all those gift cards from Christmas and getting ready for Valentine's Day. So it's just really busy.
So tell me what it's different. What's the difference between the types of things people buy for, say, Christmas, and then what they buy for Valentine's Day? Is it? I mean, can you tell the holiday different?
Yeah. Well, Christmas, it's really about gift cards, buying packages on gift cards to give out to people. And we do have Christmas parties and all those kind of things. But Valentine's Day, we don't sell nearly, as much, not even close to much as Christmas, but it's more about the in-spa services for Valentine's Day. Like, the couples rooms are booked up the whole week because of that. So it's more of an in-spa kind of promo. Get couples together, enjoy Valentine's Day. And then we transition into Mother's Day, which then kind of flips again to more of a, gift card type season.
There you go. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. I'm going through our emails. I normally do this before the show. I just come running in the studio, and I always have to look at some of the questions because I swear these people know who you are. And so sometimes I have to make sure that I will read every question, but I just want to make sure that I know what I'm reading before we get into them, because we have several really funny emails that we'll get into here during the show. So make sure you do that. Let's talk about your 6 for 5 thing real quick. Let's play a song, and then we're going to get into some emails. What's going on with your 6 for 5? I know it continues to go on. You did a 7 for 5 as a very special Black Friday kind of thing. But talk about your 6 for 5, because I always get emails every single week about your 6 for 5 deal.
We have that 365 days a year. You basically pick whatever service you want from the menu, and you're going to pay for 5 of them. We'll put 6 on your account, so you get a completely free service. And it's a really flexible option because you can share them with friends or family. You can gift them out. You can, you use it on the same day if you and 5 friends want to come on the same day, and they don't expire. So you don't have to worry about those things, terminating after a year or so. You could take 10 years to use them if you want to.
There you go.
Hopefully not, but
Yeah, no doubt. All right. You got some Oz. Last week you did Jazz Fest, and this week you were going to do the second lineup of Jazz Fest.
Yeah,
and then I saw Ozzy, and I was like, "No, is Ozzy going to Jazz Fest?" So I got a little excited. I got a little excited there because I know that he's been wanting to get back on the road, but he hasn't. But I also know you're doing This Week in Rock. But I love when you do This Week in Rock because I always hear stuff that I didn't even know about. So knock yourself out with some Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes, sure. Yeah, we'll do the second week of Jazz Fest another time. But you've heard of this one before, obviously. 1982. This is the week that Ozzy bit the head off the rat in that Iowa show.
Yep.
I had to go to the hospital and get whatever you want to call it, rabies shots.
Yep.
So perfect song for that. It's going to be the Crazy Train.
Crazy Train from Ozzy. I remember being on, that was 1982. So I was 16 years old. I was already working at radio. I remember talking about it was a bat. And he actually thought that it was like a rubber bat or something.
Right.
Because he was thinking to himself, why the hell would someone be throwing, a live bat up on stage? The next night, and that thing just lived in infamy. We talked about that for like a year. And of course he had to get, I don't know, some type of shots in his stomach or something like that. But that was insane. And from that point on, everyone just thought he was just an absolute nutcase. And from that point on, he sold a shitload of albums.
So.
Yeah, he did really, really well. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Becky in Loveland, Ohio wants to know, how long should someone date somebody before they get a gift card from the Woodhouse Day Spa?
Oh, no more than one date.
That's it, man. One date. Let me ask you this. We actually did a show on this because you want to be careful if you just met somebody and they're not feeling the same thing you're feeling. You want to kind of get in because you don't want to chase them off, right? And so you and I both agreed that rather than get something specific, just get them a money amount. That way it's something super cool. That way and if she takes it and she ends up getting like a full body massage, then you can actually say, well, I gave you a full body massage. And then that she's kind of pushing the envelope in the direction you kind of want it to go. If she ends up using in the gift shop and getting a lavender bear, then she's obviously not wanting to move it in that direction yet. But there's a lot of different things you can use on it. It doesn't have to be that personal.
Yeah, it's not, the gift card isn't that personal. So you can, you have a great date. You want to get them something, you can, get them a just dollar value gift card. And I think we talked about that maybe a couple of weeks ago. But the more personal thing, actually coming with them to the spa, booking a spa day, of course, you probably want to really make sure it's working out first before you do that.
Yeah.
And two different things. Your gift card's not personal, and then booking a spa day, it's a little bit more.
What would you say then, and be real here, what would you say, how long should you know somebody before you do a dual day together?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. You might
a couple months, maybe.
Some people have love at first sight, so I guess it's earlier. And some people take depends on the feeling. I don't think there's any set time. Yeah,
and again, talk about because these are new. I can't believe it's already been a year. Isn't that crazy? It's been a year since you opened up with that expansion. So when you're talking about dual rooms, what exactly is happening? Are we holding hands? Are we talking during times? Can we get away from each other? Tell me exactly how it goes down.
No, so, it's two massage beds. Obviously, it's a fairly large room. You're going to get a massage therapist for each person. You're not close enough to hold hands. I wouldn't recommend talking back and forth because that's not very relaxing.
Yeah.
But I think the personal part of it comes in because you're in the same room, right? Some people either go in with no clothes under the robe. Some people have undergarments, but it's going to be one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know the person, it may be kind of odd to get undressed in front of each other and then get on the bed and get once you're under the covers, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you do have to take that robe off and get onto the table and under the covers. So that could be a little odd if, you don't really know the person.
Now your name came up earlier today, and I was talking to Kip, and I was like, "Hey, listen, he can't make it out, couldn't fly out, and again, we missed you. We'll get you in. You're available to come in anytime you want. Our show is your show." And so I was talking to one of the salespeople at ABC 3340, and he had mentioned, he said, "I've never gotten a massage," and we were like, "You're kidding me?" And actually, I'm sorry, it was at Fox 6 because we were talking to one of their anchors, and Josh was like, "Hell, I go like every other week." I mean, he goes, "I love it. It's just something that I do, and it's part of my regimen." And he said, "Yeah," he goes, I'm afraid that I'm going to get excited." And I said, "Make sure that you go with no underwear on." He said, "Really?" And Josh is like, "You probably don't want to do that the first time." And I said, "Well, you do." And he goes, "Well, I wear underwear in States." Remember, he wears underwear in the United States, but when he goes to international, he takes all his clothes off, which I think is just really fucked up. I think it's weird. Anyway, but I said, you just want to be you want to be comfortable. You don't want to have any restrictions. And I told him, I said, so he goes, "Well, tell me how it works." I said, "Well, you'll be laying on your stomach first. So everything's kind of crammed down, so you don't have to worry about that." And he was really concerned. He was really concerned. And if I said his name, then I'd probably catch hell for it, but it's someone's on Fox 6. He was really concerned that he was going to get a really attractive woman to work on him. He goes, "I don't want a guy's hands on me, but I want a woman, but I don't want a really good looking woman. Will they help me with that? And I said, everyone there is attractive. I said, but it's like, I said, you're thinking too much about this. I said, right. it just doesn't happen very often. I said, now,
because you're going to be, you're going to be under we have the thin sheet, right?
Yeah.
That you put over yourself. Then we also have a pretty thick comforter that also goes over.
Yeah.
And as you move around, the comforter, it's moved in different positions, but it's always tucked in different areas. I mean, even if you did, nobody would probably even notice with those two big blankets on top of yourself.
Exactly.
And you get so relaxed, that like you and I both fall asleep during our massages. That it's just a different. It's not, it's a different experience.
It is. It's totally. And I'll say this: if you go in there and you want to get one, then you'll probably get one. You know what I mean? I mean, if you go in there and you're thinking in your brain, oh my gosh, and you're thinking all kinds of nasty stuff, well, that's just going to happen. But that's going to have if you're in
take, 10 Viagra before you go in, maybe so.
That's going to happen it's going to happen in the line at Walmart. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, you think about it hard enough, it's going to go. But
and there's nobody good looking at Walmart.
No, and it's funny because he was so serious about it. He wasn't laughing or anything. He was really concerned about it. He's like, I don't know if I could do that because I mean, what would happen? Blah 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 blah. And I said, well,
no, I've got friends that have not got massages that say the exact same thing. I'm like, man, you just go try it.
Yeah, and I said, if something does happen, where then you just say, hey, listen, can I have a couple minutes to relax or whatever, or let them leave the room? I can only think of one time where I was on my honeymoon. I was down in El Dorado, down in Cabo San Lucas, and I had this short little Hawaiian woman. She must have weighed 400 pounds, but she had some great hands, and she came so close to some of my erogenous areas. She was just really good at what she did, and it was so good that I ended up going back a second time. But I mean, she never touched me. She never did anything bad, but she just knew exactly where to go. And I actually had to start thinking about, Pete Rose's batting average. But besides that, it was no big deal. All right. We got some more emails to get into. Give me another classic rock song, man.
Yeah, we're going to do this. This album came out when I was right out of high school, freshman in college. It's when Def Leppard released that Paranoia album, which ended up selling over 20 million copies, believe it or not. It's the biggest, by far the biggest album. Great bunch of great songs on this album. Yeah. But I chose Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages from Def Leppard as we do this. What year was that? Do you remember? Was that 1983? Man, I was listening to Sirius XM or something like that, and they do that top 40 countdown something. And they were doing January 8th, 1982. And I was like, man, 1982 was just, that 82 and 83 were just great years. Because you could hear like Pink Floyd, you could hear Frank Sinatra, you could hear some disco music. I mean, you could hear Rush. Yeah, I mean, you got all this classic, right? You could hear Zeppelin. You could hear all this classic rock stuff. And there were people on the outside of their careers. And then, of course, you started hearing, some of the mush mouth stuff. It was just fantastic. It was really, really good. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Tommy in Birmingham wants to know, please ask Stuart what the best Valentine's gift is he's ever received.
Man. That I can monetize, you mean?
Well, I don't know. I'm assuming he's talking for something from your lovely bride, the best. Or
you know what?
I am something you got from a girlfriend or something like that growing up?
No, I'm going to tell you that the honest truth, and you'll understand when I say this because you've probably experienced it. The best Valentine's gift, and it's the only one that I really asked for, is the little handmade cards for my kids who aren't really kids anymore. That's 20s and 30s, but back in the day, that's all I really wanted was for them to sit down and color in some Valentine's card. I still have a bunch, have all of them actually,
That is some good stuff, brother. I totally agree with you. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. Stella in Birmingham wants to know, what does, I got to start reading these ahead of time. She wants to know, what does Stuart know about butt lifts? That is something that we have. And again, we're talking about a spa here, so they don't do butt lifts. And maybe she's read up on the Deshaun Watson thing. I know that you can have parts of your body rub down his gluteus. He always wanted his gluteus. But I don't know anything. Do you know anything about butt lifts?
I mean, I'm assuming the Kardashians had one, but I don't really. I don't know a whole lot about them. I mean, I'm assuming. I guess you could get that done. I'm assuming, obviously, but I think if you get the lift, eventually it's going to drop again. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't even know how that would. I mean, I know what a facelift is. I guess you just take the skin around your ass and just pull it. I guess so you can pull it up.
Maybe they add muscle to it, or I don't know.
And the fact that the majority of it is fat makes it even more. That's interesting. I may have to do a little research on that. That's not something that.
Don't they have like those yoga pants and shit that kind of do the same thing without having?
Yeah, I mean they got lift up bras. They should have lift up pants, right? They probably got stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
sure they do.
They got this that Kardashian stuff that skims is just like a damn girdle is what it is.
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of interesting. Rodney in Birmingham wants to know, love the show. He said, I'm laughing my ass off. I guess he's listening to the show from last week. Wants to know, have you ever been part of any thermal spas? Have you ever gone to a thermal spa? Is it something you'd ever want to invest in? I always thought thermal spas were always really cool. Obviously, we're talking some type of volcanic ashes or volcanic action.
Yeah.
And
I have not. I mean, I have been. I've been in spas that have obviously the volcanic rocks in their steam rooms and things like that, and then the infrared saunas. Those are pretty popular. Some wood houses have infrared saunas. It's just dry kind of heat,
Yeah.
But as far as one of those really nice places where you go, like in Iceland or someplace where it's those type places. I mean, I would love to do that, but I don't know a whole lot about them. But yeah, like the infrared saunas, a lot of wood houses have on them. They're pretty nice, but
so how's the infrared thing work again?
It's infrared heat. It's just it's basically those. If you go look at those infrared heaters that are outdoor that produces heat, but it doesn't blow heat on you. It's not like a fan. It just produces the heat. And like the saunas will heat up to about 125, 130. And it's great. It's good. You sweat out, you detox. I go to that hot works place that you actually work out in one of those infrared saunas and you sweat everything out. It's fantastic, but it's not like a great experience. Like if you're going to go to one of these spas that specialize in all that great stuff.
Yeah. 905-7676, your phone number, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. I'm on your site right now. It's fantastic. Get on there. And of course, I got a couple of gift cards. Dr. Josh already used his, and my daughter's going to be going to get her nails done next week. And everyone that goes to the Woodhouse Day Spa, just be prepared, because from now on, if you buy someone something with the Woodhouse Day Spa gift card or something, they're going to expect it every year. So make sure you take care of those fine folks. They do really, really well, and they do great work there. And we love that. Teresa down in Montgomery, has a question about hormonal imbalances. I really can't understand what her question is. I guess she says, I have hormonal imbalances. Is there any type of treatment I can get at the Woodhouse Day Spa that could help me? I guess is her question.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a more medical issue. And I don't even know if that would be a med spa issue. I think that's more of, it's going to be your physician, one of the general or the referral type deal, because I think that's more of something that would probably take some sort of injections or something like that. Yeah.
Do you do some of those medical places? I've heard that they got some type of infrared thing for migraine headaches now. Is that something that do you have any infrared stuff at all outside your rooms?
No, we don't even have the infrared sauna, but that's that I don't think that in general cures migraines. There could be some other treatment, infrared treatment that does, but I'm not really familiar with it.
Yeah. Okay. You got another song here. We're rolling. We are rocking and rolling. We're 25 minutes in already, and we just been yapping our brains off here. Give me your third song here, and then we'll double up at the end. But what's your next song here this day in rock? I'm curious to see what Journey did on this date.
Well, so these next three songs are all about birthdays.
Okay.
And 1949, this week, Steve Perry was born.
No, really?
So I had to include it, obviously. And I don't think I've played the song on the show before.
So he's 70, 75, 76, something like that, huh?
49. Yeah. That's
so 75. Right. So, okay. So, Rod Stewart just turned 80 last Sunday, and I was just kind of like, what?
He's playing in New Orleans coming up.
I know it. He's playing the amphitheater, the brand new amphitheater here. But I read several months ago that he's not playing any of his old music anymore. All he's doing is his storybook crap.
No, forget that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So he's like, he kind of retired all of his Rod Stewart music, and now he's just doing the storybook shit. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
Right. Nobody does, I don't think.
No. I mean, he's
I just go see him, I guess, would be something that you haven't seen him before.
It's just amazing to me that a guy, I mean, just the travel alone. Listen, I'm 59 years. I'll be turning 59 here in a couple of weeks. I hope to make it 80. I'm pushing for 90. I really am. I hope I can make it to 90. And I'm sure I'll be able to get around. But the fact that these guys are still singing and going town to town and touring at the age of 80 just blows my mind. I just can't. I can't believe it. And these guys,
Stones are just announcing a new UK tour.
And they've been partying their asses off, man. I mean, you can't do drugs and smoke and do all that shit for like 60 years, and all of a sudden, last 10 years of your life, start doing yoga and make it all right. You have to pay the price, right?
Some people do, but some people don't. Obviously,
I mean that is insane. That's crazy.
So anyway, the song's gonna be "Lights" by Journey.
Lights from Journey to celebrate the birthday of Steve Perry. He was actually on one of those Dan Rather things. You know, Dan does those interviews.
Yes, right.
And it was really, really good. And he was talking about what happened. And obviously he had a love loss there, and they were asking about the Journey situation. And basically, he just didn't want to play music anymore. He's like, I just totally didn't want to be part of it anymore. And he promised her before she passed away, the woman that he was in love with, he promised her that when she passed, that he'd get back into something he loves. And so now he's making music again. I haven't heard any of his new stuff, and there's probably no radio stations that would play it. But it'd be interesting to see what some of that stuff is. So that'd be kind of interesting. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net. You can stop by the summit right there. Check out the Woodhouse Day Spa, Birmingham.woodhousespas.com or 905-7676, 905-7676. We last week or the week before, we're talking about you were looking for some new help, some new workers, and we just want to kind of go over that again. I don't know if anybody dropped by the place and you hired anybody, but we kind of wanted to go over that again just in case you're still looking for some people to employ.
Sure. Yeah, we have a few through various resources that came in, and we interviewed. We'll probably get a couple from there.
Good.
So that's good news. But we're still looking for some weekend people, especially if you want to pick up some shifts on the weekend. We're always booked. You'll always be booked full. Yeah. And pay is great, and the tips are great because of the type of clientele we attract. So if you're interested, just give my GM Holly a call or stop by the spa.
All right, sounds good. All right, we're up against it, man. Give me your last two songs. Tell me about it in rock and roll history. Go.
Yep, it's like I said, it's birthdays. So Robin Zander was born in 1953 from Cheap Trick, and the great I had to include this one, obviously. The great Aaron Neville was born in 1941, and so the Cheap Trick song we do, which I don't think I've done on this show either, is "She's Tight."
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, and Aaron Neville, this is his version of Randy Newman's Louisiana 1927.
Before we get into them, don't forget 905-7676. Stop by their wonderful store. It's right there in the summit. They're not going to have 10 inches of snow, so you'll be good to go. Hey, be careful down there, my friend, and we'll see you when you get back in town. We'll play your songs for you, okay?
Yeah, I'll be back in a few, hopefully.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.